The Wilson family was renowned for their warmth and generosity. With 4 children already, their home was a haven of laughter, love, and abundance. Family dinners were cherished rituals, camping trips were a frequent adventure, and holidays were brimming with joy. Their guiding principle was simple: love is meant to be shared. During one of their heartfelt family discussions about the future, they decided to adopt a child. They felt their home had even more love to offer and wanted to share it with a child in need. After careful thought and research, they were drawn to Grace, a pale-skinned little girl living in a local orphanage. Grace had endured 2 years there following the loss of her parents in a tragic accident. Quiet and introspective, she carried a gentle smile and curious eyes, often retreating into her thoughts and dreams of finding a place to truly belong. The day Grace met the Wilson family, something shifted in her heart. The sight of the tall, smiling couple and their 4 radiant children filled her with an unfamiliar yet welcome feeling: hope. Maybe, just maybe, this was the family she had longed for. The Wilsons embraced Grace with open arms. They lovingly guided her through every corner of her new home, introducing her to the cozy garden where they planted flowers together. The bustling kitchen and the living room where Sunday movie nights were a treasured tradition. To celebrate her arrival, they held a small family-only welcome party. Each of the Wilson children presented Grace with a handmade card, promising to be the best siblings she could ever imagine. Overwhelmed by their kindness, Grace couldn't hold back her tears. For the first time in years, she felt a sense of belonging. Surrounded by love, she realized her dream of finding a family had finally come true. Grace became the 5th child in the Wilson family. Adjusting to her new life came with its challenges. There were times when Grace felt overwhelmed, unsure of her place in this vibrant and loving home. But the Wilsons were always there to reassure her, to hold her when she cried, and to remind her that she was part of their family now, no matter what. Her siblings, especially her closest in age, Ava, made sure Grace never felt alone. They played together, did homework side by side, and whispered secrets late into the night. The Wilson home became Grace's haven, a place where she was safe, loved, and encouraged to dream. As the years went by, Grace grew into a confident young woman. She excelled in school and discovered a passion for science. She decided that she wanted to become a doctor, a dream inspired by the compassion she received from the Wilsons. She wanted to help others just like they had helped her. The Wilsons cheered her on every step of the way. When Grace was accepted into a prestigious medical school, the entire family celebrated. Her parents beamed with pride, and her siblings threw her a surprise party. To them, Grace's success was a family success, an embodiment of the love and support they had poured into each other over the years. But life, as it often does, threw an unexpected challenge their way. 20 years after Grace first joined the Wilson family, her adoptive father, Jonathan, fell seriously ill. The doctors diagnosed him with kidney failure, and he would need a transplant to survive. The news shook the entire family. Jonathan had always been their rock, the one who held everything together with his strength and kindness. Seeing him weak and in pain was unbearable for Grace. She knew she had to do something. Without a second thought, she volunteered to be tested as a potential donor. The days leading up to the test results were filled with anxiety. Grace remembered the sleepless nights she spent by her father's side, holding his hand and praying silently that she could help him. When the results finally came in, it was revealed that she was a match. Tears of relief filled her eyes as she hugged her mother, who had been trying so hard to stay strong through it all. Grace knew that this was her chance to give back a fraction of the love that the Wilsons had given her. The day of the surgery arrived, and the entire family gathered at the hospital. Grace's siblings, now all grown up, were there holding her hands, reassuring her just as she had reassured them countless times throughout their lives. Jonathan looked at his daughter with tears in his eyes. "You don't have to do this, Grace," he whispered, his voice cracking with emotion, but Grace just smiled. "You gave me a life, Dad. Now it's my turn to help you keep yours." The surgery was a success. Jonathan recovered well, and Grace was back on her feet sooner than anyone expected. The experience brought the family even closer together. Grace realized the depth of her love for her family and how each moment they shared had shaped her into who she was. It wasn't just about saving her father's life, it was about giving back a part of the love and support that had been her foundation for so many years. A few months after the surgery, the Wilson family gathered to celebrate Jonathan's recovery. It was a simple get-together in their backyard. The same backyard where Grace had played as a child, where she had learned to ride a bike and where she had spent countless summer evenings with her family. As they sat down for dinner, Grace stood up, her heart overflowing with gratitude, and gently tapped her glass to get everyone's attention. "I just want to say something," she began, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "I want to thank Mom and Dad for everything they've done for me. You took me in when I had no one. You gave me a home, a family, and a chance to dream again. You showed me what love really means, that it's not about blood, but about the bonds we choose to create." She paused, looking at her father, whose eyes were glistening with tears. "Dad, you've always been my hero, and being able to help you, even in a small way, is the greatest honor of my life. I love you all more than words can say." There wasn't a dry eye around the table. The Wilsons had always known they were lucky to have Grace, but in that moment, they realized just how deeply their lives had been enriched by her presence. Jonathan stood up, his voice breaking as he spoke. "Grace, you may not have been born into this family, but you've always been a part of us. You've given us more than we could ever ask for, and we're so incredibly proud of you." The family embraced, the love they shared palpable. It was a love that had weathered storms, faced challenges, and come out stronger on the other side. Grace knew that her journey was never just her own. It was about the family who had believed in her, stood by her side, and loved her unconditionally through every challenge. Grace pursued her passion for medicine and eventually became a doctor. She chose to specialize in pediatrics, driven by a desire to bring hope and comfort to children who, like her younger self, needed someone to believe in them. She often thought of her father during her long shifts at the hospital, his strength, his kindness, and the way he had always put his family first. She wanted to be that kind of person for her patients, to give them a sense of comfort and safety even in the most difficult times. Years after her adoption, Grace was invited to speak at a community event about her experiences with adoption, family, and the transformative power of love. Nervous yet excited, she knew her story wasn't just her own, it was also the story of the Wilsons, a testament to how love can break barriers and how family is forged not by blood, but by the bonds of the heart. Standing on stage, Grace faced the audience with gratitude. "I was adopted by a family who didn't look like me," she began, her voice steady. "But they loved me more than I ever thought possible. They showed me that family is about more than shared genes. It's about shared love, shared dreams, and being there for each other, always. My dad once told me the greatest thing you can do in life is to share your love with others. And that's what they did. They shared their love with me, and it changed my life." As she finished, the audience erupted in applause. In the front row, Grace spotted her parents, her mother wiping away tears, her father smiling with pride. In that moment, she knew every challenge and triumph had led her here, all thanks to a family who opened their hearts to a little girl in need. The Wilsons continued creating cherished memories, their lives a testament to resilience, hope, and the extraordinary power of love. Together, they honored the bond that had made them a family, proving that when hearts are open, miracles happen.